seen each other a couple of times as of late. Not this year, but twice back in the spring, including a Wisconsin come-from-behind win over Rutgers in the Big Ten semifinals. There is history between these two squads.
Well, I've always been impressed. Paula Wilkins spoke to her earlier today, the head coach for Wisconsin. And one thing that you can guarantee when her team takes the field is that they will provide a lot of effort and energy. She says it's been a difficult season in many ways, but she looks at the analytics and the statistics and says they've been playing some very good soccer. Expected goals, that sort of thing, has been at a high level, but they haven't been able to get the finished product. And they're going to see if something can happen today in that area.
So Rutgers with the first possession of the afternoon. You see the Scarlet Knights are in the home white kits, and Wisconsin on the road in the red. And it's played forward for one of 9 all-Big Teners across this Rutgers team, Amira Ali. But Wisconsin able to track it down. And a first touch there for Claire Odemark, one of the top scorers. But given away, Taliaferry in for Ali. Cutback, Ali, shot. But the first save of the day for the graduate student in goal, Jordan Bloomer.
What a composed Amira Ali, just cutting back against the grain to get it to her left peg and then scuff the shot. Great through ball by Taliaferry.
Yeah, service blocked twice. Here's a second look. Like you said, Ali, she's a 5-time All-Big Tener, very composed.
She just missed the finish.
Rutgers applying the early pressure. It will go out, though, for a goal kick. And gives us a chance to meet one of the top players for Rutgers this season. The Big Ten scoring leader, Frankie Taliaferry, setting NCAA history. That's all levels, D1, D2, D3. The most games played for any women's soccer player in NCAA history.
Well, the simple thing that means is that the program she's been with, and it's true, Penn State, now Rutgers, they advance deep into the postseason to allow her that sort of dominance in appearances. And but credit to her, she's been in the middle of those successful results. And well, congratulations to Frankie Taliaferry, because you also have to stay injury-free through all that, and that doesn't happen by accident. It's the discipline of an athlete.
Yeah, Taliaferry has not missed a game in her 5 seasons. That record that she breaks, by the way, was 24 years old, so it had stood for quite a while. Taliaferry, now a 5-time Big Ten champion between her efforts at Penn State and now the regular season crown for Rutgers after that 10-0 regular season. So she's seen a lot of winning too. Wisconsin looking to sustain its first possession of the day. This will go out for a Rutgers throw-in. We talk about how this Rutgers team comes into this Big Ten quarterfinal match. Rutgers on its longest winning streak ever, longest in program history, 11 consecutive victories. And so there's a lot of confidence in this group right now.
Yeah, I mean, with the way that they can attack from a lot of different angles with a lot of different individuals, and then behind the ball, how organized, led by that young lady who just played the ball, the captain, Gabby Provenzano.
She's been an anchor. 4-year starter, 3-year captain, Provenzano at center back. And Rutgers looks forward for the Big Ten Freshman of the Year, Riley Tiernan, but it comes back to another freshman who will be marking her quite often, Aiden McConnell, one of 3 All-Big Teners for Wisconsin. But a giveaway in the box, and Bloomer is able to snuff it out. My goodness, could have been something there for Rutgers early.
Well, Bloomer's very important to Wisconsin. You mentioned 3-time All-American. She's a top keeper. And this is strength right here. Because Tiernan, look at those strong hands going down, just taking it off the right foot of Riley Tiernan. That's good goalkeeping.
Jordan Bloomer's in her 4th year as the stalwart in goal for Wisconsin. A 2-time Big Ten goalkeeper of the year. And even though she didn't get all conference honors this season, the numbers overall have been great. 2nd in the Big Ten with a .68 goals against average. And we talked about Wisconsin. The big story for them, they struggled down the stretch. Just 1 win in their final 8 games. But Bloomer helped the way to 4 ties over that stretch.
And ties are a good thing. when it gets you into the postseason. You get a point. And Wisconsin, they oftentimes find a way. And I think that's partly the leadership from that coaching box. Paula Wilkins, Tim Rosenfeld, her longtime assistant, both at Penn State and Wisconsin.
One-timer there. It's Natalia Vigiano, but the senior shanks it wide.
And then on the Rutgers side, you have the this stable staff led by Michael O'Neill, Megan Ryan, the associate head coach.
Mike O'Neill, the Big Ten Coach of the Year. Paula Wilkins, between her time at Penn State and now 15 seasons at Wisconsin. 8-time Big Ten regular season champ and 3 Big Ten tournament titles as well. As Ali goes in pursuit here. Rutgers looking to show some early pressure in an otherwise pretty balanced first couple of minutes in this quarterfinal. There's Sam Kroger, but the Scarlet Knights conceded off the sideline. Rutgers, a team that offensively has scored 52 times this season, leading the Big Ten. So a tall task for Wisconsin's defense to handle all the different options Rutgers has.
It is, and discussing that with Paula this morning, it's just about being compact. And when we observe this game, Dom, we'll see if Wisconsin remains compact. If they get stretched, that's when they could be in some severe difficulty. And that's what's been stressed to them leading into this one.
Provenzano playing it long. There's Emily Mason. And the winger able to find it. Looking for service back in. And that's cleared. Tiernan not able to track it down as she looked to face up goal.
Also asked specifically about guarding Tiernan on the flanks. We've seen some teams isolate defenders and not provide cover. Some teams have brought a second, sometimes a third defender over to deal with Tiernan.
Rutgers with the ball back. Ali looking to turn the corner. Kroger takes a try and Bloomer makes the stop.
Kroger, we've seen her score from distance. That's a good take, solid low. But Bloomer, there she is, no rebound at all. But the answer regarding Tiernan is just cover defender. Have a second defender in the area, anticipate so that she can't have fun on the flank.
I mean, you and I, Glenn, have gotten to cover most of Rutgers' Big Ten slate, and we've heard that from a lot of coaches, right? It's sort of the dilemma you face when you play this team. How do you handle Tiernan becoming the freshman of the year in the conference, in addition to Ali, a known entity, Taliaferry, a known entity, and some of the sophomores like Kroger we just saw there, Sarah Brocious, another midi. A lot of options.
No, there are, and that's where you can't really just focus on one player. So it's just good team defending, numbers around the ball. So whether it's Tiernan on the ball or Taliaferry or Ali, it's numbers around the ball. So first and second defender, which is the key to defending in any match, that small group defending.
Tiernan coming back into the midfield to win possession as Rutgers looks to break away. Nice job, though, recovering. That was Maya Sella there, 4-year starter, a 5th-year senior. Name you probably know well if you've seen this Wisconsin team once or twice. She forces the turnover. Now, Wisconsin, just 8 goals scored in Big Ten play. They're looking for number 2, Emma Jaskinak. And we saw Natalie Vigiano take a shot very early in this one, too. Another top target offensively.
Jaskinak has taken 10 shots in the previous 2 matches. So she's, and one thing that you notice is that because of the lack of goal scoring, players tend to get a little bit frustrated. They might take a shot that's not necessarily of high quality, but just to take it. And that's the thing teams need to overcome when the goals are hard to come by. You've still got to set up, not the perfect goal. You have to set up the perfect shot, but you need quality opportunities, not just opportunities.
Yeah, try to build some pressure, right?
That's the question.
Rutgers is trying to do here. A couple of shots on goal at Jordan Bloomer so far, but 2 saves from the vet in goal. As it's tipped forward, Ali chasing, and Bloomer's off her line for it.
Well, there's your fullback inverted, standing at the top of the D with a first-time little curling ball in behind to Amira Ali. Bloomer again getting to it first, but that's where the versatility of the Rutgers attack is shown.
Yeah, Rutgers tic-tac-toes its way out wide. Allison Lynch curling it in, and once again, Bloomer is active early. Now, it's been a very involved start for Jordan Bloomer. She's a veteran, though. I mean, she's been the starter for basically every match over her 4 seasons, and she's a main reason why Wisconsin has gotten this far.
Well, she has professional qualities.
Yeah, I feel like you can say that about a couple of players on both teams, right? That's what you get when you have, again, a lot of those multi-year starters between the 2 clubs. That comes all the way back for Provenzano. Haven't said the name yet of Megan McClelland in goal, another 4-year starter, the Rutgers keeper. 3 combined shots so far over the opening dozen minutes. 2 on goal and saves from Jordan Bloomer. That's about it so far, as these 2 veteran teams sort of feel each other out a bit. And Mason looking to advance forward with help from Taliaferry and Tiernan, but onto the back line for McConnell. And there's a touch for Emma Jaskinak, the junior. She's Wisconsin's leader in scoring with 19 points. There's Sarah Brocious, and Rutgers swallows it up once again.
Much credit to those who work on the field, and I know they are diligent. They were out early this morning. A lot of rain in our area overnight, and the field was very soft this morning. But we've had a men's match already, the Rutgers men winning a big match to qualify for the Big Ten tournament over Ohio State 4-0, and the field looks very firm. We don't see players slipping.
Yeah, that's Rutgers Ops and Rutgers Facilities. Now making the pitch look pristine. Rutgers men a 4-0 win over Ohio State. It's a big one for that team.
Yeah, huge win. Postseason, what it's all about, Dom. You know, you work out, you get to the preseason, you're doing all that work, and honestly, if you don't qualify for the postseason, it doesn't necessarily always mean it's a failure, but that's where the juices flow. That's where it really starts to get thrilling when you get into the playoffs.
Yeah, it was interesting talking to some of the Rutgers players and reading some of the articles out of Madison. You've got 2, again, veteran teams, both teams with lots of postseason success as of late. Rutgers, NCAAs every year under Mike O'Neill. Wisconsin, back-to-back Sweet 16s in 2018 and 2019. So they know that whatever happens in the regular season is a small part of the equation when you evaluate the success of a year. And so they're here for more, but only one of these teams will advance to the semifinals on Thursday. That's the big question. This will go for a deep Rutgers throw-in the attacking third. A shot on goal so far from Sam Kroger and Amira Ali. And Rutgers will bring the freshman center back, Cassidy Banks, forward to throw this in. Banks, one of 3 on the all Big Ten freshman team from Rutgers. And it's easily cleared. Maya Sella there. Wisconsin trying to get something going in the counter, but Lynch is there to tackle it away. In for Ali, and Bloomer finds it on a hop.
Rutgers patient, reloading, swing the ball, get it to the weak side player, Emily Mason. She's got a lot of space to take a touch, make a decision, just overhit that service. But the idea was good with Ali running in behind.
Vigiano looking to play it. Badgers looking for their first real offensive push, but that end-to-end ball finds Kroger. Ali. Now McConnell with the handball there. Intriguing to hear the comment. From some of the Rutgers players on the attack about how things are continuing to build still with Taliaferry and Ali and Tiernan. None of them played together last year. Of course, Taliaferry at Penn State, Rutgers with Ali leading them offensively, and Tiernan was in high school. So relationships still seem to be building with this group.
Well, that's going to be the case for any team that is looking for patterns, movement, combination play as they approach the goal. And those are coordinated efforts. I mean, there's different ways you can play the game. You can play direct, go for the second ball, see what you can do off of that.
Vigiano cutting to the middle of the field. And on the overlapping run, Wisconsin looking for service. Steered towards the middle, and McClellan makes the stop on the one-timer. Good effort, though. Looked like Gabby Green on the overlap far side with the service.
And that ball ricocheted off of Banks, so McClellan alert her. That could have been an own goal.
Rutgers once again. Natalia Ferry looking through. Brocious in pursuit, but McConnell has the step, and she'll concede the throw-in.
Taliaferry now twice has a feathery touch with the pass between defenders. Brocious doesn't have the pace to catch up to that one. But those balls played in the seams are very difficult to defend.
Mason drives it in. You can see some shadows there in the box on Wisconsin's defensive end as the sun starts to set a little bit on this fall Sunday. Bloomer not affected by the sun in her eyes. Now, something else to keep in mind as this match wears on. The sun setting in the New Jersey sky. Especially with this Wisconsin team that has played nothing but close games and ties, it feels like, this season. Not many games decided by multiple goals either way. And here come the Badgers once again, playing it in for Odemark, and clearance from Provenzano. Maybe some momentum building for Wisconsin offensively.
Well, they're finding space on the flank, in particular on the right side. Here we go again.
And Provenzano's there with the header, and Taliaferry taps it away. So something building perhaps, but Rutgers nullifies it quickly.
As far as that side of the field, so Rutgers has to figure out. We got Wisconsin getting an overload, 2 versus 1 on that side of the pitch, and it's a fullback getting into the attack. So either the winger has to drop down, or a midfielder has to perhaps recognize it a little bit earlier and get into that area. And Rutgers, sometimes this will occur off of transition when they are stretched because they're in possession looking to build.
And once again, Wisconsin looking for a ball on that right sideline. This goes out for a Badger throw-in. And squandered out of play.
Well, part of what Wisconsin hopes to do with their fullbacks is get them into the attack, especially on the side of Riley Tiernan, but also Sam Kroger. Kroger started on the left, Tiernan on the right at the beginning of the game. They have switched sides, but forcing those two to defend is something that is obviously counterproductive to Rutgers because of their prowess on the attacking side.
Sure, keeping it away from the middle too, with Taliaferry in the middle, and then obviously Provenzano is one of the center backs. This is a Rutgers team, awfully talented. I mean, sure, they're the #1 seed, perfect in the regular season, but they are very young. You've got a lot of players who have tons of high school postseason success, but a relative lack of NCAA postseason experience just because of the youth. And we'll see if Wisconsin can win out with the battles there as they play it around for Sella, and all the way back for McConnell. And Becky Flushell there with the heel flick, and along for Banks.
Flushell took a nice little peek over her shoulder. She knew that Murta was coming in close and just relieved the pressure with a nice little back heel.
Provenzano again trying to play it forward, looking for Ali. You see that as Rutgers tries to vary its attack, right? Try to build through the middle. Sometimes Provenzano playing a big ball. But so far, Wisconsin up to the task. As Maya Richter's driven back, and it comes forward for Oudmark. Ball first, no whistle there. Wisconsin. Here's Verdugo. Linking up with Murtha. Cami Murtha curling it in. This will go out for a Wisconsin. No, it's going to go for a Rutgers goal kick. Wow. That took a deflection off the Rutgers defender there, Banks.
I think that was the old wind-up and then off the, the non-serving foot. Happens to the best of us.
And Murtha certainly that 5-year starter at Wisconsin. She started all of her 99 games now there in Madison. Now coming up on the midway point now of this Big Ten quarterfinal. Rutgers, the #1 seed. Wisconsin, the #8 seed. Last team to get into the conference tournament, but chuck the records out the window with these two teams that have seen a lot of postseason. Murtha, hard tackle there, and she gets whistled.
Rutgers having a difficult time solving Wisconsin now. Wisconsin, they've got a shape 4-2-3-1, but at times they're pressing with 4 players and then midfielders sneaking in behind. There are spaces to attack for Rutgers or to slip balls through in between defenders and get it into the midfield in between the defending forwards. But they're not utilizing those spaces wisely enough at this moment.
Yeah, Emma Jaskinak starting this for Wisconsin. Looking to serve it in. That ball took a deflection as Murtha plays it out. Here's Green. And Lynch wins it back. Not many touches so far for Emma Jaskinak in the center of the midfield. See if Wisconsin can find her a bit more. Good throw in there, good distance on it. And now a giveaway. Murtha. Space here. The cross. Into the 6, and it's headed high. Now, good opportunity there for Natalia Vigiano, the second team All-Big Tenner in the midfield. Quality service here.
And there was distance and space wide right again. Lynch trying to close down and deny service, but Rutgers very compact in front of the goal, and Lynch had a long way to go to try to defend that. Again, service from the right, and that's where it's really come consistently for Wisconsin.
Yeah, meanwhile, things have been quiet on Rutgers' offensive side, but Mason, a one-time touch for Taliaferry. Taliaferry takes a left-footed try, and right there is Jordan Bloomer once again.
To Taliaferry's left, Sam Kroger by herself once again, and there's Frankie Taliaferry. If she's squared up, balanced, you don't want to deny her the opportunity, but that's a distance take against a quality keeper, and you can't see it in the picture, but Kroger was open on the left from about 22 yards out. Not saying she would have walked in on goal, but I think she might have, with her left peg, been able to prepare and shoot, maybe with a little bit more force.
Natalia Ferry's first try-on goal of the day, as Rutgers tries to get the Big Ten scoring leader into the mix. 31 points for the fifth-year senior Taliaferry. That leads everybody.
Well, that's just it. She can finish from that spot, but when you look back at it, did she square up and could she really drive through the ball? And the answer was no. And again, Bloomer is not going to lose that battle.
Now we see our first two substitutes of the day, both from Rutgers. Emma Meisel and Alison Lowry enter as Mason and Ali exit. Now Meisel will go in at right back, and Lowry will go to the forward line. Now there is Meisel. She'll play left back, I guess, on that opposite side of the pitch.
Yeah, that's the normal switch. Mason more comfortable on the right. Lynch can play on both sides, but her best side is on the right as well. So when Meisel, a natural left, comes in, that's the way they'll switch.
Lowry has a strike from distance, and it sails high. Now Rutgers calls their substitutes, every single one of them on the team, calls them game changers when they come on. And it's not in a forced way. You talk to them in conversation. And when our game changers come on the field, that's how they think about their subs. There's a regular rotation of 7 of them. And Wisconsin trying to force Rutgers back. There is Lynch on the right side, looking out wide for Tiernan. Can she track it down? No, and it goes out for a Wisconsin throw-in.
Well, Wisconsin has to look at this half in a successful manner defensively. Riley Tiernan has been barely on the ball and lacking her normal influence in the match, and she's been forced to defend. When I say forced, a winger in this system, part of the responsibility is to back tackle and understand where they need to be defensively, but Wisconsin has done a good job in forcing the Rutgers wingers, based on their attack, to defend a little bit more than they prefer.
Good pressure there from Cammie Murtha, forcing Rutgers all the way back to McClelland. And that's been a fairly even first half. Rutgers has taken one more shot, has a couple shots on goal as well, but nothing too challenging for Jordan Bloomer. Now here comes Rutgers. Taliaferry looking in for Lowry. And the whistle comes after the play. It'll be on Lowry for that hard tackle.
Which one?
Yeah, I was going to say, two Badgers are slow to get up. It's Sella and Green, and both of them seem to be okay. Oh, maybe Gabby Green, the first tackle, got the worst of it.
Well, Lowry puts everything into it. That had a WWE flavor to it, though, you know. Taking 2 out and then walking away.
And pop up in another tackle. Got both of them on their feet, Sella and Green, and Wisconsin plays on. Looking for its first real challenge of McClelland. Maybe here. That one tapped off of Banks, and this will stay with Wisconsin. Tiernan was leaking up the field looking for the feed, and now has to come back to play it. And Rutgers wins it, That goes out for a Wisconsin corner. First one of the day.
Well, Rutgers, she wouldn't allow Tiernan to work her way out individually. Tiernan deep in her own corner. And there's an example, Riley Tiernan defending well back in her end. And then Richter earned a corner.
McConnell starts it. The service, that was deflected. And Meisel clears it away for Kroger. Nobody really back here for Wisconsin, and Rutgers looking to break out with Lowry. One-on-one battle with Green, and a nice job there by Gabby Green. The sophomore content to clear that away. Could have been something for Rutgers.
Yeah, there was an opportunity. Kroger, good soccer. And she'll be jogging off the field now, but there's the delivery. Lowry was not quite far enough ahead of the defender at the start of that when it was played by Kroger, and good job by Green, and good pressure by Lowry.
Another ball first tackle as both players go down. You saw the substitution, by the way. Kroger goes off for Kylie Daigle, another one of Rutgers' all-freshman team honorees. Daigle's been a breakout player in conference action. She's got 9 points now, particularly in the assist category. And here comes Wisconsin, Verdugo. And a throw-in coming. And we'll see the first Wisconsin substitution as well. It's Sophia Romine. And the sophomore midi will enter for Verdugo. Wisconsin, a team that routinely plays anywhere from 3 to 6 off their bench. Not quite as deep as Rutgers has been. That one takes a header. Looked like Murtha had it right there for McClellan to play on the hop. Now, as suspected through the first half hour plus, this match has had absolutely none of the makings of a 1-8 battle. Rutgers, the perfect Big Ten regular season. Wisconsin finished the regular season 1, 3, and 4. But so far, these two teams have played pretty evenly.
When you don't score goals, it's tough to get results, and that's been
Sure.
the difficulty with Wisconsin. But this is exactly the sort of match I expected. And with the substitution of Kylie Daigle, as we've seen before, taking out Kroger a forward. Now Frankie Taliaferry moves up closer to goal. She's in the striker role with Tiernan on the right and Lowry on the left. Daigle in the mid.
And you see Taliaferry right of your screen there. Here's Lowry cutting it in for Taliaferry. For Brocious, one-timer stop, second try, good! Sarah Brocious off the rebound, and Rutgers takes a first half lead.
Taliaferry closer to goal, running out of that striker position. What a good hard diagonal run by Taliaferry there. And then the cutback, she saw Brocious. You could see Brocious was begging for the ball and stayed with it to score the opener.
Sarah Brocious' fourth goal of this season. She finished the regular season with just 1 point in her last 9 contests. But on this Rutgers team with so many talented offensive players, Brocious has been on that list, and she's able to cash in off the rebounds. Bloomer made the first stop, but Brocious was right there waiting for the second chance.
Brocious is as unheralded as they come on this team and in this league, and it's just she's under the radar because of so many attacking personalities, but so much goes through Brocious, and that run out of the midfield that she made 100 times this season, she's made that sort of run, and well-timed, and those are so difficult to defend, and you see she was by herself initially.
Well, Wisconsin looking for an opportunity here, trying to answer. This is Joyelle Washington. Wisconsin, making a substitution after the goal. Here's a second look at the goal, by the way. Taliaferry up there on the attack.
Yeah, that's a great cutback. It's not on the deck, so it's a little more difficult to handle, but Broch is putting the first one on frame. Point blank, Bloomer did the best she could, and then to finish by Brochus. But that's not always easy, the Taliaferry delivery. She's running hard at the end line, but you see she comes in at an angle so she can get her hips around just enough for the pullback and the assist.
You can see Bloomer's frustration too as Brochus took the shot low and clipped it right into her chest and just could not secure that rebound. And slammed the turf. Bloomer so far had been good on 4 stops, including that one. But Brochus with her 4th goal of the season, and so Rutgers grabs the advantage. Now we'll see what Wisconsin can do to answer. Now don't forget, think back to the spring when these two teams met in the Big Ten semifinal. Rutgers scored first. Wisconsin scored the last 2 goals, including the 86th minute go-ahead from Emma Jaskinak. So lots and lots of soccer still to be played. Now Washington looking to split the double team here. Provenzano scuffs it for a moment, playing a ball back. Looking through, there is Jaskinak as it leaks in, and McClellan is able to find it right as Vigiano collapsed in.
Out of character, Gabby Provenzano getting caught on the ball in a precarious position. And that happened a little bit earlier before this when Washington was burying it on goal, but give credit to Provenzano along with Banks. They recovered, forced Washington to pull up, and Wisconsin, good response.
Now long ball in that Bloomer will play as she ushers her teammates forward. Trying to build some of that momentum back. I've seen Wisconsin play some good service into the box in this first half, but not really find too much. That may have been the best chance so far today for Wisconsin. A card for Lowry. Even after the Wisconsin foul. Maybe because of Lowry's recent history in this half. She's had a couple of fouls so far.
I think it's safe to say Lowry's entrance and her persistence, she's been rather feisty. I think that's an appropriate word, and but that feistiness, adds an element. Wisconsin is a team that relies a lot on effort.
Tiernan lets this in for Lynch. Lynch. The Wisconsin clear, yes. Nicely done there by Vigiano with her back to the rest of the field. Well, again, Rutgers calls their substitutes their game changers. And we saw Lowry come in at the forward line, then you see Daigle come in and allow Taliaferry to move forward. Those changes help set up the goal so far.
No question. You're not nicknamed game changers unless that actually happens in the course of the reserves coming in.
Fouchel. Cleared again by McConnell.
But you consider the pair of central defenders for Wisconsin. First they have to deal with Amira Ali, and then now it's Frankie Taliaferry. Taliaferry runs out of the midfield as well to get in the box on certain occasions, but two different kind of players, but honestly, two of the top attacking players in the country.
That's a big ball from Meisel, and Bloomer is there just before Taliaferry.
And Taliaferry probably has a little bit more pace than Ali, so depending on where Wisconsin sets their line and how you read it. If you have freedom on the ball at Rutgers, out of the midfield or out of the back, you can play it in behind early and possibly spring Taliaferry behind the defense.
Nice ball there by Lowry to start this, but it's picked off by Sella. Racing to the end line with Meisel.
Gianna Romano tried to do something in possession there that was very difficult when she could have just pivoted and taken her own space back towards her goal. And Rutgers needs to be composed in terms of their possession. It's going to be their best defense in many ways here this afternoon.
Here comes Riley Tiernan with lots of green grass in front of her. 2-on-2 ahead. Tiernan gains the edge, takes the try, and it's easy for Bloomer there. Great recovery by another freshman. We've said her name a bunch. Aiden McConnell, almost step for step there with Tiernan.
Great defender, also allows Wisconsin to play effectively out of the back. A good ball-playing central defender, and yes, defended Tiernan well. Tiernan made a long run and I think just got a little impatient at the end. She also had Frankie Taliaferry running with her. It is, in essence, it was about a 2 versus 3, 2 versus 2 at first. But Tiernan, one thing she's really effective is getting around the edge and maybe a little bit more patience there. But it's a counterattack where, if you could hear the supporters here at Yersak Field, they're used to seeing Tiernan do things special, and you could just, the crescendo of the crowd as she approached the Wisconsin end was special.
They've seen a lot from Tiernan, number 73, over the years, right? Her older sister, Madison, one of the top goal scorers in this program's history, as Wisconsin plays a curious ball in, but there's nobody home there. And it's going to go for a goal kick. Now, Madison Tiernan, the volunteer assistant coach on this team after a couple of seasons at the professional level, also wore number 73, like her younger sister decided to do when she got to Rutgers this fall. And Lowry, who was a first half entry, will come off the pitch here as Rutgers substitutes again. Gia Gierman and Emily Sapienza enter, with Lowry and Tiernan off for the final 3.5 minutes. Meisel strikes another long ball ahead. And Bloomer is right there. She's been busy in this first half, the fifth-year graduate student. 5 saves. He's faced 7 shots.
Which also indicates Rutgers' efficiency, putting their takes on frame.
Yep, 6 of the 7 have been on frame. And Rutgers once more, tapping it forward. Sapienza. There's McConnell once again. She has started every game at center back as a true freshman this year. And you can see why. But some space to operate here for Daigle. Romano looking in for Taliaferry, and once again, Bloomer is a step there just ahead.
And once again, McConnell just reaching out her right leg to get a deflection there. And that redirected it into the path of Bloomer. It's possible Taliaferry was going to be able to run onto that. Absolutely.
Through once more. Here's Taliaferry again to the right foot. Taliaferry curling it wide. Some chances here for the Big Ten scoring leader, Taliaferry, her second shot of the day. Now you can see what a pest she has been to Big Ten back lines all season.
And the luxury of starting her in the midfield And then this has been a fairly regular substitution pattern. Amira Ali starts at striker, then comes out at some point in the first half, and then Taliaferry, she moves into that number 9 role closer to goal.
Final 80 seconds here in this first half. Rutgers, it seems, has grabbed the momentum since the goal from Sarah Brocious back in the 33rd minute to give Rutgers the lead. Second chance off a rebound from point-blank range in the 6-yard box. And that is the difference right now in this Big Ten quarterfinal. It's Mary Monticello. Haven't said her name much. Been playing to the right of McConnell, also at center back. Jaskinak slipping it in. Final 30 seconds now is Daigle. She'll get the whistle here. And that'll just about do it for the first half. A half that started pretty balanced, it feels like. Rutgers has claimed the momentum.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
You can hear the countdown here at Yersack Field. Plenty of Rutgers supporters in the stands, and so far they've liked what they've seen from the beating the 4 seed that was earlier today. So Iowa is in, Michigan is also in the bottom half of the bracket, holding on as the 3 seed to beat Penn State 3-1. The other game going on right now on the Big Ten Network, Purdue is up on Ohio State more than 70 minutes in. Sarah Griffith, her 15th goal of this season. So Michigan will get the winner of that game. The winner of this one gets Iowa as we are into postseason time in the Big Ten. You can feel the wind. It's a little cool here now in Piscataway. And it feels like postseason time. And it's been a fun quarterfinal so far between these two teams, and we're in for a fun second half as Rutgers plays the ball back towards McClelland. And should remind you, too, about the history between these teams. Don't have to go all that far back. Same calendar year back in the spring. Rutgers, Wisconsin, the Big Ten semifinals. Wisconsin scored twice in the second half to upset Rutgers and go to the Big Ten final. So that's certainly in the back of these two teams' brains.
And Wisconsin has not changed anything in terms of their shape, how they're electing to defend Rutgers as Rutgers looks to build out of the back. Maybe the pressure's just a little bit higher by Wisconsin, and now they come away with the ball.
Yeah, they forced Taliaferry into a turnover as Izzy Verdugo will lay it back for Monticello. Aiden McConnell, the freshman center back, looking forward, but Gabby Provenzano is there for the clear. Wisconsin getting in as the 8th seed. A tie on the final day of the regular season, plus some help from some other teams to get to this point.
Talked about forward defending of the first half. There's Sam Kroger deep in her own end, intercepting a pass, and that's what sprung Amira Ali there as Rutgers worked their way out of their own end.
Yeah, Kroger able to check back into the midfield and win it back. It's a team that often talks about team defense. A program that's prided itself on its defensive effort, and the offense has been a new addition, or sort of a step up this year for this program as compared to recent seasons.
And I think that's the biggest difference when you relate the story of 2021 in the spring and the sorts of results there against Wisconsin. The idea is that Rutgers has more variety on the attack, the addition of Frankie Taliaferry and Riley Tiernan in particular. Taliaferry, the transfer, Tiernan, the freshman.
Yeah, Rutgers, in fact, with that goal from Sarah Brocious, set the program's record for most goals in a season. It was the 53rd goal scored by Rutgers this year. breaking a record that had stood for 36 seasons. That tells you how good it's been, unprecedentedly good. Now some good pressure though from Cami Murtha here as McClellan has to play it forward, and Rutgers trying to avoid some of Wisconsin's high press. Isn't that crazy though? A 36-year-old record broken by this team.
I wasn't aware of that. I was trying to think back to what year that was. I used to watch Rutgers in the early days.
85, second year of the program's history. That's how long it was. Rutgers, when you talk about its success, you always, I should say, go back to 2015, the College Cup year. Rutgers bounced early in the Big Ten tournament and then rebounding to go all the way to the team's first Final Four. As Brocious tries to curl this in for Taliaferry, and Monticello clears it.
Wonderful ball from Brocious again. Brocious, Taliaferry in particular, players that when they're in that midfield area, they're making those hard dribbles to the inside. They see those spaces between defenders and deliver. And that's what Brocious did there, trying to spring Taliaferry out of the midfield. So Taliaferry and Amira Ali continuing to develop their relationship, even as we are entering the postseason of 2021. And a nice little bit of mobility between those two as well.
Yeah, these are two players, Taliaferry and Ali, who have known each other for a long time. They, like most of this Rutgers team, are from New Jersey. Played together at PDA, the Players Development Academy, one of the top clubs in the country here in New Jersey. And that was a big reason why Taliaferry decided to transfer home, was the opportunity to play with Ali. And there is Amira Ali, who we'll see playing in the NWSL this time next year for Portland. I can't say it would exactly shock me if Taliaferry is playing on one of those clubs too. And it's played forward here for Tiernan, the star freshman. Draws a double team. How does she handle it? Looking for that trademark cutback, and it does earn a Rutgers corner, the first one of the day for the Scarlet Knights.
Verdugo coming in as the second defender, but from a side where it looked like Tiernan might try to take advantage and go end line. Cuts it back against the grain, and perhaps a little fortunate as it deflected off of the Wisconsin defender, and Rutgers with a corner.
And it's Becky Fluchel to take it, the sophomore midi. Quality service, back post, and it's by Kroger, who came in with the header. But Tiernan keeps it in. Opposite side now for Tiernan. Provenzano plays a ball. This is going to go out for another corner as Lynch tapped it off of Jaskinak.
How's that for awareness? Just a little first-time ball. Delicate pass here from Provenzano, splitting the defenders to find Lynch. And Lynch, maybe she could have played it in one to try to find Amira Ali at the front post. But another corner.
Kroger and Tiernan stand by the opposite corner flag. And it's Kroger back for Emily Mason, a freshman trying the service, and skies high.
Now you mentioned that 85 team. Now, I don't know if these two ladies are listening, but met and spent some time with Liz Pellerin and Maureen Shamey, who played on that team in 85. I'm pretty sure I have that right. They were helping to celebrate the Rutgers Big Ten regular season championship midweek.
Hang on, here's Kroger, who gets in and leaks it just wide. Oh, goodness. The width of one ball wide of that post. That was how close Rutgers was to making it 2-0.
The wonderful moments of athletics. Although she missed the target, as soon as Kroger struck that and the ball was rolling towards the goal, the entire Rutgers support crew here at Yersak Field rose to their feet, preparing to celebrate the goal, which did not come about.
Bookmark that moment if Wisconsin can equalize, and they're going to try to do that right here. In for Vigiano. That took a deflection. Wide for Izzy Verdugo. Curling ball to the 6, a touch, and Rutgers got fortunate there. That was a hard run from Jaskinak to the back post.
So look at that, Rutgers coming so close at one end, and Jaskinak, that didn't miss by much off the half volley, just wide left, and there we're getting a look at it. But a nice gesture with Liz Pellerin and Maureen Chamey coming back midweek as the Rutgers team and families and invited guests celebrated the first Big Ten championship in Rutgers athletics history.
Yeah, the championship for Rutgers is it feels like a watershed moment, not only for this program, but for the university. Again, it's the first Big Ten team championship for any team at Rutgers since joining the conference back in 2014. And so the celebration at the new Academic Success Building right on the opposite side of Ursack Field behind us. And so it was a nice moment. So many folks gathered there. Rutgers Athletic Director Pat Hobbs, Rutgers President Jonathan Holloway. And for a school that has been close with plenty of good teams in recent seasons, it was women's soccer able to break through. And a nice moment, too, to see them get their honor as they try to pivot now and get ready for postseason time.
Jonathan Holloway told a great story. While at Yale, the tradition there is when teams win conference championships, the teams are invited to the House of the President. So the Rutgers women got their official invitation. Nice. From the Rutgers University president, Jonathan Holloway.
And I'll add the 2021 year to the banner you can see on the opposite side of Ursack Field once the season is over, too, I believe. Looking to add more than that. This is a Rutgers team that has talked about winning championships. That's been the conversation since going back into the preseason. As Wisconsin's trying to build something here, looking in that time for Claire Odemark, and Cassidy Banks cut her off.
Banks used her body well to just cut in front, and that allowed the ball to roll out for this goal kick. McClellan will play it to Gabby Provenzano to start it the other way.
Now, so far, a good chunk of the possession has been with the Badgers, but not much really in terms of goal-scoring chances. Just that volley from Jaskinak. Now, Wisconsin's been looking for it. Have you seen any changes yet, or anything that sticks out to you from the way Wisconsin's come out of halftime?
The only thing is that their line of confrontation, where they start defending, is a little bit higher. It was in the first half probably starting at the top of the circle on the Rutgers end, and now they've moved it to within 35 yards maybe of goal. And so that is a significant shift in terms of tactics. And right now, Wisconsin has responded, I think, very well to that surge from Rutgers where Kroger just barely missed the target, getting the very good chance back at the other end from Jaskinak. And now there's a certain energy to Wisconsin, and you can tell, you can see Jaskinak clapping her teammates, and I think she can sense that Wisconsin is putting together a good few minutes here to try to come back and level this thing up.
And if nothing else, the results from this spring certainly remind this Wisconsin team of their ability. And we'll see a booking here. I believe it's Tiernan who gets the yellow card. And now our referee will come over and have a conversation with a very animated Mike O'Neill. Rutgers was encroaching on Wisconsin a bit as they tried to take the free kick. And a pretty swift yellow.
I think Michael O'Neill's trying to get an explanation actually as to the particular foul that was called. more so than the yellow card against Tiernan.
So Bloomer steps up for the free kick, trying to drive this into scoring space as the Badgers look for the equalizer.
The other part of the urgency for Wisconsin in terms of getting a result today is Lynch does very well. That was a first touch to get herself around Vertigo, and then Vertigo coming at a poor angle took down Lynch. Supporters felt that maybe the yellow card should have been shown. But Wisconsin, without a win today, they probably have no chance at an NCAA bid. But Rutgers with a high RPI, if Wisconsin could come back and get the victory, it would be meaningful.
Great point. Rutgers, as the number 6 team in the country, will go to the NCAAs no matter its Big Ten tournament fate. But Wisconsin entered the week 46th in RPI. That's 6th best in the Big Ten, unranked as well. So this match means a whole lot as Wisconsin looks to return to the NCAAs. And the Badgers...
Yeah, that's bubble material. Usually you got low 40s. You're thinking pretty good, but we've seen teams not make it in that position. And of course it depends on how many upsets there are in the conference tournaments.
There's a lot riding on this game for Wisconsin. Should the Badgers lose, maybe the end of the road. As McConnell plays the corner, headed over. And it will be a second corner for the Badgers as the last touch comes off of Rutgers. Here's the second look.
Monticello on the challenge, Dom, for Wisconsin. And I think she headed it off the noggin of Gabby Provenzano, and that's what led to the corner.
Yeah, good call. Yeah, so Emma Jaskinak, who has one shot to her name. Wisconsin's scoring leader heads over there for this. This one not as well struck, outside the 6. And a whistle contact as Provenzano went down. That'll scratch it all out.
Well, same two challenging, Monticello and Provenzano. Provenzano gets the favor of the referee.
Well, into the final half hour now of this one. Rutgers 1, Wisconsin 0. 33rd minute goal from Sarah Brocious.
Banks and Provenzano, well done. Looking to draw in those forwards, and then they find the gaps in the midfield. Taliaferry, though, rather Fluchel, a ball too far ahead of Lynch. I'm not sure if she was expecting Tiernan to check back, but that's one way to solve pressure and play through the lines, is draw the team close to you and then find the gaps, and Rutgers did that so well. But Wisconsin back on the front foot.
And they find Jaskinak, top of the box, rips a shot. It's right at McClelland. Now the first true look for Emma Jaskinak today. It was a hot shot, but right into the midst of McClelland.
Yeah, and it's on target, well struck, and despite the fact that Wisconsin didn't level the game with that shot from the top of the D, it's going to give them a boost of confidence.
And it's Jaskinak again looking forward. Murtha in. Banks deflects it, and Wisconsin has another corner kick.
Wisconsin is playing effective soccer. When they win the ball, they're moving it smartly. and they're finding the proper player, whether that player can get the shot off or draw the corner, as in this case, or make the next pass to put a teammate into a more positive position.
McConnell lifting it back of the 6. Provenzano was there once again for the first ball, and deja vu there as she earns the whistle.
Provenzano, this is what the captain gives you. She's eyeing that all the way, head-to-head contact with Monticello. So those two have gone at it on those Wisconsin corner kicks. Provenzano is 2 for 3.
That's who Rutgers calls their general or grandma. 5 years at Rutgers, 4 of those as a starter, 3 of them as a captain. So she has logged almost 8,000 minutes now in a Rutgers kit, and you can see her vital importance to this Rutgers defense. Now Wisconsin continuing to ratchet up the pressure as Washington deflects it to the box, and that one's beamed wide. A possibility there of something for Wisconsin, but Viggiano couldn't really square that up.
Well, it's an example of the frustrations that Wisconsin has had throughout the year, in particular the second half of the season, which is during Big Ten play, is just the inability to have a consistent goal-scoring threat. And Viggiano couldn't be better placed there, just couldn't get it on target.
Emily Mason making a hard run out of the back. Out wide, space for Riley Tiernan. Tiernan for Taliaferry to the back post, and it's off the post. But Tiernan, second try, blocked by Bloomer. Wisconsin trying to survive as Tiernan's shot is blocked, and Taliaferry saved by Bloomer. Oh, what a flurry from Rutgers.
Flurry is the word that struck me as I was watching all that, trying to figure it out. Tiernan, you could hear the cries, shoot. Well, you know what? She found Taliaferry in a better position off the post. Here's Bloomer, well off her line, but cutting down the angle, and then a host of Wisconsin players there for the block.
And here comes Rutgers again, but Tiernan's ball cleared away by Monticello. Wisconsin has had some corners. Rutgers has now been less than a foot wide of the left post and doinked it off the left post, all in this second half. Rutgers seeking insurance, Wisconsin the equalizer. Now Rutgers has substituted once already in the half. Shea Holland came in for Amira Ali. It's a bit of an offense-defense swap. And now Emma Meisel is back on the pitch as Allison Lynch exits. And Tiernan, she'll earn the card here. And it's going to go against, no card. But it will be a free kick, of course, right by the flag.
Well, Holland moving into the midfield and Ali out. We saw Kylie Daigle substitute in the first half in a similar move, but Holland is more of a possession-type player. She'll play more of a twin 6 with Becky Fluchel as Rutgers looks to preserve this 1-0 lead. A lot of time left, but now they're looking to tack on.
And the wind gusting now as Taliaferry looks to take this free kick that's effectively a corner. And it's blowing away from goal. Taliaferry bends it in, chested into the box, and it's out for a goal kick. Lots of contact, too. And that's the case that Emma Meisel is pleading.
There's the service. First touch was Provenzano again in the mix, and Holland didn't anticipate. And it trickles past the back post, and still just 1-0 Rutgers. They've doubled up and even more on shots, but Wisconsin, they've certainly had their moments, Wisconsin, but again, the efficiency in front of goal.
Washington, it's a good ball there. Meisel pressuring it all the way back to the center backs. Touch for Shea Holland, and sets up something. It's the goal scorer, Brocious. Tiernan. Cuts once. So agile on the ball. But she's drawn away and overlaps with Meisel. Good defense here from Wisconsin, and Gabby Green concedes the throw-in.
Well, this started with a tremendous defensive sequence by Rutgers. Again, the numbers around the ball, winning it, and then the counterattack, just a smooth ball into Brocious to start all this.
And the Badgers take it away. Murtha and Taliaferry went stride for stride. Banks stepping up there for the hard stop. Taliaferry wins the whistle. Things getting physical as expected. We knew these final 30-20 minutes would have action between two veteran teams looking to advance to the semifinals, and it's just the latest bit.
Yep, it's not going to get less physical either. That's the 11th foul on Wisconsin today, compared to 6 for Rutgers.
Murtha out wide. Meisel and Verdugo. That'll be a Rutgers throw-in. By the way, all the other quarterfinals in the conference have gone final. The last one, Purdue hangs on to beat Ohio State 1-0. So it'll be Michigan and Purdue. Those are the higher seeds in both instances. The winner of this will play Iowa. The Hawkeyes beat Michigan State earlier today. And if Rutgers wins, should mention this too, the semifinals and the finals will all be hosted by the highest remaining seed after today is done. So, of course, if Rutgers preserves the lead, everything will be here in Piscataway. Semifinals Thursday and the championship match on Sunday. Should Wisconsin win, or Wisconsin advance at least, Purdue would end up hosting as the 2 seed. And the Badgers searching for that equalizer. That's well struck to the back post. Nicely done there by Gabby Green, and Megan McClellan drifting all the way to the post to find it.
Read it well. McClellan backing up in stride and balance the entire way. Here we get a good look at it. The crossover steps, that's important rather than the back pedal. And that put herself into a position to be balanced and just simply pluck it out of the air, no issue.
Murtha angles around Banks. Ball in for Washington. Jaskinak lets it through. McClellan once again plucks it off the goal line. Tense minutes for this Rutgers back line as Wisconsin connects some of its best play.
Vigiano nearly chipped it over the Rutgers keeper, and you'll watch it here, and good numbers forward. You see this, McClellan at the front post trying to guard that. And so well done by the Rutgers keeper again. Now Rutgers will have a chance to counter.
And Kroger cuts it back for Mason. Murtha once again making her presence felt. Washington, space, and it's saved by McClellan. Well, Megan McClellan has now 3 times in the last couple of minutes made vital stops for Rutgers.
Well, Washington made it easy on the Rutgers keeper, struck it well, but right down the middle and right at McClellan. And again, the Wisconsin finishing has been an issue. And that's the case again here in the second half. Rutgers making a massive mistake at the back, and they need to be more secure.
Cami Murtha, the 5-year stalwart as a starter, has been everywhere in this second half. And Rutgers that time clears it to just take a breath.
Sense of desperation right now for the Scarletites, but the leadership needs to get the group to settle down.
Verdugo steps around one, curling it in, and Provenzano walled it off. And earns the whistle too. Bit of a delayed there from our referee. As Provenzano comes up holding, looked like her left shoulder. There's another look. And Rutgers general slow to her feet. No trainer. That's not a shock.
It was awkward as Provenzano was desperate to clear. And Verdugo was putting the pressure on, then turned her back on Provenzano as the collision ensued. And when you turn your back on a play like that, I think it's you're in that potential for getting a call like that. So Rutgers gets the free kick with McClellan.
And Rutgers waiting for the next stoppage to bring on 4 subs. Trying to change the course of what has been a very shaky last few minutes for Rutgers. 3 shots on goal from Wisconsin. McClellan is up to 6 saves as Rutgers tries to preserve this quarterfinals lead. And now the subs will come on.
Paula Wilkins' quote to me this morning. And, you know, Paula, we have a good relationship. She's funny. But she said, all the stats we have, all these analytics and everything else, because I was asking her, well, what do you think of this season? She said, if you look at the stats, we should have won every game. But she also said she'd understand soccer isn't that way. You can't look at stats and come up with the results. But you can see that this is the number 8 seed against the number 1, and there's not a massive difference between these two sides. Rutgers has had the edge today. They have ultimately had some of the best opportunities, and they have finished one of those opportunities. But Wisconsin's a pretty good side.
Yeah, the issue has been the goal scoring this season. Wisconsin scored 8 goals in 10 Big Ten matches. And they have not been able to break through on 10 shots, 6 of them on target. As Ali back onto the pitch goes to work there. It was Ali on with Kylie Daigle, Allison Lynch, and Alison Lowry. Taliaferry, Banks, Mason, and Kroger all exited. Trying to bring on some fresh legs and re-enter some of the starters for the stretch run here. Shea Holland moving back to center back, working with Washington, who gets around. Joyelle Washington stopped again by McClellan. Boy, the senior has made some massive second half saves.
That was massive from McClellan. In a situation like this, Holland is desperate not to commit the foul, which would result in a PK. Just trying to run her best and use her upper frame, and McClellan, though, came off her line in a well-timed fashion, and then to be able to hold on to that shot from Washington.
Lowry played it wide for herself, trying to look in there for Daigle, who's on the forward line here. Wisconsin clears, and Rutgers gets a moment with the ball in their attacking third to try to regroup. Frankie Taliaferry will re-enter after a very brief moment off the pitch, as Tiernan will come off.
Well, Rutgers is getting a bit stretched now, too. You could even say that last advance into Wisconsin's end, there was 25 to 30 yards between the forward line and the midfield line of Rutgers. And part of preservation, part of preserving a 1-0 lead is to do everything in a compact fashion. If you go forward, do it together. If you recover, do it together.
Daigle curling it around. Taliaferry was hoping it would reach her. And now she checks back to find it. Still just the Sarah Brocious goal so far, all the way back in the 33rd minute to put Rutgers on top in this quarterfinal battle. And here's Brocious for Taliaferry, looking for some space to get a shot off to the back post and bends it around.
Explosive inside dribble from Taliaferry. Brocious starting it, and you can see that touch to the inside, just giving her enough space to try to get a shot on frame. Just couldn't get the boot around it to put it on target.
Daigle trying to find a teammate, bends it in, no flag, now it goes up as Taliaferry was called offside. The flag came up after Taliaferry had played it.
Well, we don't see the line, so it's very hard for us to judge that call. Doesn't matter, there's no video assistant referee.
A chance for Wisconsin. In for Joyelle Washington. Down to the box, play on. Played in, and boy, McClelland has been very busy, even just on some of those floating balls to the opposite post, where she has to, as you say, chop those steps and avoid a stumble drifting back to the opposite post.
Well, and the saves are mounting, and she's been huge here in the second half.
Joyelle Washington will receive the she came in and impeded McClelland's attempt at a kick. Washington, the freshman forward who does have a goal this season, will play on the yellow. Lowry and Tiernan for Rutgers also playing on a yellow.
Well, her chance for a second goal, that big opportunity as she broke in on McClelland, who made the tremendous save, which has preserved this lead for Rutgers.
How about that cut from Ali? And she wins a Rutgers throw-in with two more subs waiting to enter. Michael O'Neill, the Big Ten Coach of the Year, trying to make the substitutions and preserve the legs. Things have gotten a bit tenuous for Rutgers here in the second half, in this final half hour.
Well, this is true of any athlete, and the players at the back, like a Banks, Provenzano, they've logged a lot of minutes. And we're at the end of the year, so coaches need to be acutely aware. And we have the science to go along with that, with heart rate and all the different analytics, which can give you a strong idea of where your athletes stand.
Lowry has it off the deflection. And nicely won there by Alison Lowry, who came on strong in Big Ten action, sophomore forward. And she's been a bit of a spark plug today for Rutgers, too. In for Ali, turns the corner. Space for Taliaferry onside. Rutgers' latest chance. It's in, it's stopped. It'll go for a corner as Kylie Daigle looked to one time at home in the 6.
And it was McConnell who got a piece of it over the bar, but this is really well timed. Taliaferry just waiting, and then the bursting run by Daigle, and you could see a little smile towards Taliaferry. Yeah, good stuff.
Now Daigle, another one who has come on strong as a freshman in Big Ten action. Rutgers chooses to play this short. Taliaferry back for Fluchel, curling it in. Lowry. It finds Brocious somehow. Daigle's blocked by Washington. Nicely done by the forward coming back. And she wiped out and sort of slows the Wisconsin counter. And Rutgers able to recover. end-to-end action in this one in the second half. This Rutgers 1-0 lead has felt precarious from the time the teams left the locker room. And the latest bid from Wisconsin as Washington finds it. And cuts it back, but there's nobody up at the point. The Badgers a bit stretched out here.
Some tired legs. Emily Mason kind of holding back, but making a nice tackle there for Daigle to pick up for Rutgers.
Lowry. That was Vigiano who wiped out on the turf. Daigle trying to find Ali, playing furthest forward as Rutgers commits to defense with now 9 minutes to go in this quarterfinal.
Some of this is experience. What Daigle and Rutgers need to do is try to force Wisconsin to chase the game a little bit. You can tell there are players dragging out there right now. There's been great effort put into this. It's been a very physical match as well. So just stretch the game a little bit, and Rutgers needs to utilize the width a little bit more.
And there comes the ball out wide. Fleuchel delivering it for Taliaferry. Taliaferry looking to split two and bumped off the ball. It was Maya Sella there making her presence felt. Back and forth. Verdugo through two defenders. Still sustains possession. And lifts it in for McClelland with nobody really around.
Verdugo. First Banks, then Taliaferry got in. She's been highly effective here along the right side. Dynamic in her movement.
Washington, a battle of freshmen there with Banks. And it's Washington who wins it. It takes a deflection in the box, and it's going to go out for a goal kick. And the Badgers had the final touch. Here's another look at this. Deflected off a couple.
Well, Washington has forced Rutgers into several turnovers. And Cassidy Banks, it's not often that you see Banks struggling, but she hasn't been on her game to the level that we've seen throughout the season. And she's going to take a seat, and Shea Holland will head back on to play next to Gabby Provenzano for the remainder of this match, or at least for the remainder of regulation.
Yeah, Banks comes off, so her second time being subbed out. Lowry, who entered, also comes off. And Rutgers now has two of its captains on the back line with Provenzano and Holland. That's Holland there providing pressure to Odemark. Joyelle Washington loses it. Taliaferry, the veteran who's been here a whole bunch in postseason play, winning that possession. And out wide for Tiernan, also fresh onto the pitch. Rutgers looking for a second goal, and perhaps more importantly, as the whistle blows, it's going to go out for a goal kick. And Rutgers, more importantly, looking to burn more of this clock. Wisconsin has been desperately searching for the equalizer.
Yeah, this is not time to take it to the corner, especially with the ability of Tiernan to get around the defense. But stoic from Gabby Green, and you can see it was last touch by Tiernan.
Murtha putting her feet in there as Ali timed this well. Over the top for the striker. Ali for Tiernan. One-timer stopped. Jordan Bloomer's 10th save of the day. And a keeper blasts it down the pitch, all the way to the opposite box.
Cut across, and she did.
Now Provenzano escorts it out of play for McClelland to re-enter with. Ali has I don't know who played this, but a brilliant job all the way over the top for Ali. And more substituting. Jenna Corrali will enter for the first time here in this second half. Junior striker will go in at that spot that Joyelle Washington had been occupying. Now Kroger also goes in for Rutgers with Kylie Daigle out, and now under 5 minutes to go. Now Provenzano knocks it away. A finite amount of chances left for Wisconsin. Odemark. That's a good distance on the throw. Try it again. Bent it in. Rutgers denying some touches in the box now. Vigiano splitting into the box. That one was deflected by Provenzano as it goes for a corner. That was the initial call. It's going to be a goal kick instead.
That was the old ricochet. Look at Gabby Provenzano. She's got a wrap on her left leg. She's got her right knee with some of that tape which helps secure.
Yeah, she's playing, I don't know if hurt is the right word, but these are some veterans who are just hanging on here.
Well, she's one of the ones. It's just logging minutes. I mean, the body can only take so much, and you push through it. And if Rutgers is fortunate enough to advance into that semifinal on Thursday, Gabby Provenzano won't be doing much between now and then. A lot of recovery.
Ali for Kroger. Tiernan, space. Riley Tiernan. Point blank, stopped again. Jordan Bloomer keeping this game alive for Wisconsin. It could be the final match of Jordan Bloomer's career, and she has put forth a remarkable effort, 11 saves.
So deceptive, Riley Tiernan, but she's got to hit this low. She's got to play it on either side of Bloomer and has to hit it low. That made it easy for Bloomer. Good save.
Rutgers again opting to go short off the corner. Tiernan's around 2. Now wins another one. And the clock continues to roll.
Yep, so the Rutgers will, I would imagine they'll go 2 here. That is 2 players. And now try to keep it in the corner and kill the game with under 2 minutes.
And it's 2 underclassmen here, Fluchel and Tiernan. Chipped for Fluchel. Wisconsin looking to unlock it from their back end. And maybe they can do it here. Monticello battling with Ali, who wins it. And taken out. Free kick for Rutgers. And more opportunity to milk time away in this quarterfinal.
Well, the one that you can't do not put this in the mixer. Do not put this in the mixer, just down in the corner. There you go.
And there it goes for Ali to stall with. The soon-to-be pro coming back for a 5th season on the banks. Looking to win championships. Rutgers did that in the regular season. Looking to sweep the conference. And just trying to hang on here after a great test from the 8th seed. And a countdown on now in Piscataway. Wisconsin's got to win it back. Tiernan with the shadows cast across the pitch, playing keep away. Brocious lays it back. Wisconsin's got it. The last chance. Monticello forward. It goes out of play. More time ticking off. The Badgers have it back. Flung forward, and McClellan's got it with 18 seconds to go. And that should just about do it. A fervent surge from Wisconsin throughout this second half. But the Big Ten regular season champions will hang on and advance to the semifinals. The top seed Rutgers wins in the quarterfinals 1-0 over Wisconsin.